Hey guys, welcome back to the Over the Line podcast. Today is NBA Draft Day 2024. This is going to start a brand new season, season two of the Over the Line podcast. Sorry, season one was so short, but we started in the playoffs. What else could we really do? But we're really excited to kind of start this off season, sort of recap like all these episodes for you guys. So yeah, I'm also excited to get this started. It's going to be just me for this live reaction bit. There's the man that the Pistons are thinking about drafting. He kind of looks like me, which is funny. But anyway, yeah, so it's just me, Caleb, today, wearing my NBA shirt. We're gonna hopefully get some good reactions to these picks. And I think we're about to start in like 10 minutes here. So I had a fun little activity we were going to do. I did predict a little bit of what was going to happen. I know Connor had his predictions too, so I can say those. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the live kind of scoreboard of what predictions we got right. I don't think I'm going to get mine right. I did mine at work. My mind wasn't right, but we did the lottery, so we'll see what happens. I think I took more risks than Connor did. There's Donovan Clingan. I have no clue where he's going to go, so we'll see if I get it right. But I think I have some fun kind of picks and ideas of where players might go. But yeah, this is gonna. Oh yeah, I already talked about how this is gonna start a new season of what we were doing. But yeah, we're super excited for Over the Line to get into this off season, and what better way to start with the draft. And I'm gonna go ahead and read off my draft predictions to you guys. I've been doing a lot of research of what's been going on. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting, but we're gonna do it anyway. So Hawks at number one. It's been pretty much confirmed that they're trying to take Zach Risacher or Zach Risacher if you're super American and can't pronounce the French. But this is an interesting pick because I didn't know anything about this guy until this week. So I have no clue like if the Hawks are actually going to draft him. And you know, Alex Sarr, I get it. He didn't work out for the Hawks, but the Magic also took Paulo Banchero first overall when he didn't work out for the Magic. So I still think there's a big possibility Alex Sarr still can go number one. And honestly, that might be what happens. I might change my trajectory here. Eh, maybe not. I don't know. The Hawks need defense. Alex Sarr is quite the obvious pick here, and if they have number one, they might as well just do it, right? But a lot of people are saying that Zach has kind of jumped ahead as the clear number one pick. So I'm locking in Zach Risacher as the number one pick. Wizards number two. Obviously, I'm putting Alex Sarr here. No brainer. He's going to fit right in into Washington and what they're trying to do, which is just rebuild their goddamn team. They needed a center. They needed defense. They got rid of Gafford. Um, and Alex Sarr is going to be that guy. So I'm excited to see how much he can kind of change the trajectory of this Washington franchise because, usually when you start a rebuild, you expect to kind of be on the up and up, but Washington has kind of just stayed in this state of, bottom feeder of the East, which is, I'm relating to them. I'm a Pistons fan. What can I say? So hopefully Alex Sarr can help them out. I'm pretty sure those one and two is going to be right. I hope I get two right, and it probably is just going to be one and two. Here's where I change things up from Connor a little bit. I'm putting Reed Shepherd as my number three. I just think, him. I don't think they're taking Klingon because Klingon is going to be a starter in this league one day with his rim protection, and we can see how much value he brings, like a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein, like especially in the playoffs. I think Klingon is a perfect rim protector. He's going to be a good center one day. He kind of reminds me of a Walker Kessler. So I just think the Rockets with Alfred Sengun wouldn't take Klingon quite yet at three. So next pick, I have the Spurs taking a gamble with their fourth pick, and I have them taking Klingon. And I just think Wemby can be moved over to power forward, or they can bring Klingon off the bench for, the first year or two, and then, they don't lose any of that rim protection, or they can just slide Klingon at the center, put Wemby at the four, Wemby's more agile. He's gonna get more agile. He's gonna get better at shooting. He's gonna get better at lateral quickness and defense, and just his stamina is gonna get better in general. His stamina is already really goddamn good. So I think Klingon might be a good like just sort of what if pick for the Spurs here. I don't think that's actually gonna happen, but I just want this to happen. So yeah, the Pistons at 5. I really, really, really want them to take Dalton Connect. Connect? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. But because Dalton Connect reminds me a lot of Jaime Jaquez, and I really like Jaime Jaquez. He was a 4-year player at UCLA, maybe even 5, and he just comes into the league. He's already a guy who can help the Heat win, and I just think the Pistons really, there he is, the man I want, but I just think the Pistons really could use him, but I do think they're gonna end up taking Buzelis here, which is the other white guy in the top 5. Well, I guess there's actually 4 white guys in the top 5. Yeah, that's crazy. No, no, no. Top 6. Actually, no, sorry, top 7. God, good Lord. Anyway, Hornets at 6. Connor, you got your wish in my draft prediction as well. I think they're going to take Stephon Castle. I have Dalton Knecht going to the Blazers at 7. I have the Spurs taking Nikola Topic, and then I have the Grizzlies taking Rob Dillingham. I just think they could use someone to kind of fill in for Ja when he's out, and who knows, Ja might fuck up again in the public, or he might get injured again. I think Rob Dillingham kind of fits the mold for Ja as kind of fits the mold of Ja as like a electrifying playmaker, except Rob Dillingham's a bucket getter in a shooting sense, and John Morant's a bucket getter in kind of like just a slashing sort of dunking on your head sense. But I do think they'd be a nice kind of 1-2 punch. One comes off the bench, and especially if they're playing together, that'd be crazy. So yeah, I've Rob Dillingham going number 9. That might be a bit too high for him. A lot of people have him going around the 12 to 15 range, but I made this at work. I got to get this done quick. So at number 10, I have the Jazz taking Ron Holland, and I did not know who this was until today. Those G League Ignite players just go right over my head. Like they just don't get on my radar at all. Ron Holland's apparently has tremendous upside. He's only 18. He played in the G League, and he's a 6'6" shooting guard who just gets buckets, I guess. So I think the Jazz could really use another shooting, like another just creator, because they have Sexton, but he's not that much of a creator. The Jazz have a lot of scorers, and the only person who can really create their own shot or create for others, I think, is uh Jordan Clarkson. And when he's the sixth man, I think Ron Holland could be that guy to kind of start for them, and he'd be a nice experiment for the Jazz right now to kind of get themselves out of mediocrity. The Bulls have them taking Devin Carter. He'd be a really nice role player to grow alongside Josh Giddey now that they have him, and just a nice player to start the rebuild with, I think. Thunder, Cody Williams. They have uh Justin Williams. Yeah, it's Justin Williams on their team. Jalen Williams, good Lord. Jalen Williams is already on their team. So I think Cody Williams fits the mold of what they're looking for. They're kind of the Thunder like to play just wings that can do everything, and Cody Williams fits that vibe, and his brother's on the team too. So I just think that would, be even better. And for the Kings, I am gonna have them taking, hold on, I forgot his name. NBA draft board. So the Kings, I'm gonna have them taking, it's this France guy. Tijande Tijane Salon. Good Lord. Anyway, I have them taking him. The Kings, they need a guy that can kind of go next to Domantas Sabonis. They don't really have a true power forward right now, and I think he could be a good role player to kind of step in and fit in with them. And then for the Blazers at 14, they just traded their 14th pick, actually. I need to look up that trade and see what happened. We have so much to talk about. All right, breaking news. Woj announced that the Portland Trailblazers traded Malcolm Brogdon and the 14th overall pick to the Wizards. So I had the Wizards taking Alex Sarr, and they just traded a wing to get the 14th overall pick, and they traded away. Okay, the Blazers got Denny, so now the Wizards have the 14th pick. So who could they be taking with this pick, man? I'm gonna have to look at the draft board again. My knowledge on this stuff ain't that deep, man. So the Wizards have this pick now, and I mean the Wizards really need pretty much everything. They have the other French guy that's going to pair up against Alex, that's going to pair up with Alex Sarr, but maybe they take Topic and you know what? Oh yeah, I put Topic for the Spurs. Um, all right, I got to make a decision here. Honestly, maybe they get Jared McCain as like a bucket getter. Um, but I think a lot of people have him going to the uh Sixers, so maybe I'll stick with that and Jacoby Walker. I'll say Jacoby Walker is gonna go 14th. Oh, first pick's being
There were
announced.
two very different people. Their backgrounds, their
Oh, it's
personalities.
just announcements. Okay, that's fine. I thought something was being announced. So, um, yeah, Jacoby Walker is gonna round out my list. You can't really see that. He's gonna round out my list at 14. So let's listen to Adam Silver, see what he has to say.
Like in consecutive years, they selected
So many boos for the Celtics, bro. Why are they like shouting out the Celtics for doing well in the draft? Shout out Brooklyn, honestly. I gotta turn this shit down.
Congratulations again to the
Shout out Brooklyn. I don't know why they're shouting out Boston, bro. What? Dude, why everyone hating on greatness though, honestly? I respect the Celtics for sticking with it. So many people try to win chips so fast nowadays. The Celtics are homegrown. I gotta respect it.
first pick.
Oh boy.
24 NBA draft belongs to the Atlanta Hawks, who have 5 minutes.
Oh, they have 5 minutes. Okay. Oh boy. All right. Hey, I just want to clue y'all in on something. My buddy Logan just told me. He said Piston poverty continues tonight. Blazer dynasty starts. I don't like NBA commish. He too bald. You know, I I can agree with maybe your second take. Maybe the Blazers start a dynasty today. All right. Well, since I have time, I'm gonna go ahead and read you guys Connor's predictions, and we'll see if they're anything similar. And oh yeah, he sent me a screenshot. That's what it was. So let's go ahead and read off Connor's predictions. See how many he can get right versus me. Let's see. Here we go. So Connor has Zach Richache going first, Alex Sarr second, Donovan Clingan third to the Rockets. So there's our first switch up. He has Reed Shepherd going fourth to the Spurs, which honestly probably is the right pick. He has Matas Pazulis going fifth to the Pistons, Stephen Castle going or Stefan Castle going sixth to the Hornets, Dalton Knecht going to the Blazers, which I think would be a perfect pickup for them. Cody Williams eighth to the Spurs, Devin Carter ninth to the Grizzlies, which would also be a really good pick for them. Ron Holland going 10th to the Jazz. We both had that one. Nikola Topic going 11th to the Bulls, and Jared McCain, he has him in his top in his lottery going to the Thunder, which I think would be a good pick too. They were missing some shooting, I think, in the playoffs. But I don't know if Jared McCain will change that in 1 year, but it's down the line. You know, that's a good pick. He has Tristan De Silva going to the Kings 13th. I think we both had the same ideas there, getting them another kind of bigger wing. So we'll see which guy goes. And then Rob Dillingham is his 14th going to the Blazers, but we'll just change that to the Wizards now. Which I don't think they'd pick Rob Dillingham, but I had them taking Jacoby Walker, so we'll see. I feel like any guard could go there. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Let's listen to what these guys have to say. Oh man, they just made their pick. Oh gosh, I don't know who is that. Kyle Korver on the table there? That's definitely Kyle Korver, bro. I'm pretty sure Landry Fields also is the GM of this team, so that's interesting. All right, we'll see if Connor and I got this right. Yeah, this pick might get him out of the play-in for once and into like the into like the sixth seed. I wonder what they're gonna do with DeJounte Murray. So I feel like no matter what happens here, I feel like DeJounte Murray or Trae Young are gone. And I mean, the Spurs might try to swing this and like give up one of their picks for Trae Young or something. And then oh man, I feel like the Hawks could go a certain way with this and just completely blow up the team. Ba-da-bum, bum, bum. All right.
With the first pick in the 2024 NBA draft, The Atlanta Hawks select Zachary.
No, there it is. There it is. All right, 1-for-1, baby. We're both 1-for-1. It's a two-time winner in the FIBA World Cup. Wow. This is like the first overall pick that comes out of nowhere. I hope he's good for the Hawks, though. I hope he's solid. I can't wait for Summer League now because I'm like, I've never been this into the draft before, but with the podcast, it just kind of like makes me have to be more into it. So this is gonna be cool. I'm excited to watch these highlights on him. Damn, he only averaged 10 points a game though, and he's a first overall pick. Dude, this draft is mid. Oh yeah. Okay. This makes sense then. The Hawks are getting a good defender, a good shooter. This is what you want because Alex Sarr wasn't really a shooter. And if they have Capella and they're planning to keep him, then maybe Zach was the best choice here. Yeah. Plus, he's playing against pros over there too, so he's got that maturity and the high IQ. Oh boy, 15 and 67 record for the Wizards here. We got 2 first-round picks though. Just draft Bronny, get LeBron, then the stars will come flowing in.
You giving me?
The Washington Wizards need a lot of help.
Oh, Richard Jefferson never changed. All righty, pick number 2, baby. All right, come on. Well, we all know it's gonna be Alex R, so easy.
24 NBA draft. The Washington Wizards select Alex Sarr.
Yep, there it is. He's excited to go play with Jordan Poole. Dude, he was a professional at 14 years old. That's wild. I'm excited to see how this goes. He was definitely the #1 pick. I'm really surprised the Hawks didn't just take him. Like, I know he didn't work out for your team, but damn, I'd be like, screw it, bro. I'm taking you anyway. Because back in the day, I remember the Pistons GM, Jack McCloskey, uh, Isaiah Thomas didn't want to work out for him. And like, this is the good Isaiah Thomas. Well, I guess both of them were good, but Isaiah Thomas from the 80s, he didn't want to work out for the Pistons. He answered every one of his like pre-draft questions wrong intentionally to not try to go to Detroit. And Jack McCloskey took him anyway. And then it looks like the same thing happened with Paolo Banchero on the Magic, and they took him anyway. And look what happened. He's an all-star now. And the Hawks should have picked this guy. What are they doing? They need defense, and they picked a project player, in my opinion. So the Wizards are getting an absolute steal here. This is going to be really fun to see in Summer League. How all these overseas guys stack up on especially even the G League guys, how they stack up on like other young NBA talent trying to get minutes. I'm excited. And I think Alex Sarr for the Wizards, that's gonna work really well. Just because he is something they needed. He's a piece that they were missing, like Richard Jefferson was saying. Look at that. The Wizards had no one that could do that besides Gafford until they traded him. Yeah, Wizards are going to be competing next year for 20 wins. Same with the Pistons, so it's all right. Maybe the Pistons will be competing for 15 wins. That'd be nice. Or just not to lose 29 games in a row again. Their pick's already in. All right, Rockets. Reed Shepherd. Reed Shepherd, come on. Gotta stay 3 for 3 here. Reed Shepherd, baby.
With the 3rd pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Reed Shepherd.
Hey, I knew it, boy. Let's go. I knew it. Reed Shepherd. I don't know how I predicted that, but I'm 3 for 3. Let's go. Wow. Best shooter in the draft, going to already one of the lights out teams. I mean, I think they're lights out. I see Jalen Green doing turnaround threes all the time, but yeah, they also have Fred VanVleet, man. This team's going to be dangerous, especially on offense. And Alperen Sengun. Oh, gosh. Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith. Wow. Yeah, I can see a world where they take Klingon and maybe just bring him off the bench, but with this kind of guy still up, he could be the next Steph Curry. He's okay. That was a crazy take. That might be the hot take of the episode, but I mean, this dude, 52% from 3, you can't leave him on the board. So honestly, steal for the Rockets. And there was speculation he might go #1, but Hawks already got Trae Young, man. So not enough room for 2 of them kind of guys on the team. But yeah, Reed Shepherd, man, he's going to be the real deal. And good pick for the Rockets. I'm glad I got that right. Only thing is his defense isn't that good, but I think the Rockets have enough athletes to kind of surround him on the floor, and especially his offense is going to make up for it, which is the good thing. I am really excited to see him play at the next level, especially in summer league. This is going to be really interesting to see. Good for the Rockets, and he had the highest vertical in the draft too, so it's not like he's any like yeah, it's not like he's not an athlete either. So this is a really good pick for the Rockets. Add him to that core. He's gonna be he's gonna have the greenest light of green lights on this team, especially with Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet already on it. He's gonna help out their bench so much. Reed's just like, can we get this over with, please? All right. Spurs Klingen. Let's pick Klingen. Come on. See, I do think there's a world where the Spurs go Castle here, get some defense, just to pair alongside Wembanyama, so he's not kind of on an island out there with the rest of those defenders. Because they have Sohan, he's good. Trey Jones, I don't know, he's all right. He's just kind of small, which like the Spurs do good with small point guards though. Greg Popovich, like that's his bread and butter right there. You know, Tony Parker, he's only like 6'1", 6 foot maybe, and yeah, I see a world where they do go Klingon, but I also see a world where they go Stephon Castle. So I guess I'll lock those in. But
In the 2024 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Stephon Castle.
there it is. There it is. I low key predicted that, but damn, sorry, Con. That's tough. But good for the Spurs, man. Good pickup, and they still have 8, and they're still going to be able to get a dynamic player with that. But this is really interesting for the Pistons now. Who do you take if you're Detroit? Do you up your defense? No, you take a shooter. Take Dalton Knecht, please. Please, God, Pistons. I know you're going to take Matas Buzelis, but please take Dalton Knecht. I want a mature player who's a knockdown shooter. We can surround him with defenders. We got plenty of young guys that are in their teens still already. I just want Dalton Knecht so bad, man. He wants to win. He's gonna be the next Jaime Jaquez, bro. Come on now. But Stephon Castle, he's gonna help the Spurs a lot on defense. Pairing him next to Wemby, that's gonna be a nightmare for teams. He's gonna be hounding people on the perimeter while Wemby's down there in the paint. And so this is gonna be hell for teams to compete with when they're on offense. And you know, the Spurs, they have enough creators. I know Stephon Castle wanted to play point guard, so this is going to be interesting. Will he replace Trey Jones? Maybe in some lineups, I can definitely see it happening. Competitive defender, which is something this NBA nowadays needs, bro. So this is where the Spurs get their get back. I can see them making the play in next year, if not better. Greg Popovich, they need to get some more free agents too. They need to sign some more playmakers on offense. Jeremy Sohan playing point guard, ain't it? Never was. That's awesome that his coach is up there with him, man. Yeah, and that's another thing I value a lot. If I was a coach in the NBA, I would value your ability to win, your history with winning, and your want to win the most. This dude is going to be a winner. He is going to really help the Spurs like turn their organization around and back to the promised land. I'm not saying they're going to get to the promised land, but they're going to compete, man. They're going to be good. All right, there's the new GM. He's dapping up the guys. Let's go. What was that handshake, bro? Pick is in. I'm so scared, bro. If I had my Pistons hat, I'd wear it, but I'm moving out in like 3 days, so all my stuff's packed. It's not going to be Klingon, right? There's no way it's Klingon. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst if it's Klingon, but we got to sign some shooters then. I know they want to sign Tobias Harris, so maybe they're not going to. Dude, I don't know who they're going to pick. It's the world is the Pistons oyster. I don't know, dude. I bet I'm going to be happy with anything. Is that Killian Hayes up there? Good God, get him off the screen. Holy crap. No way they draft Ron Holland, bro. We already got Jaden Ivey. We don't need you, Ron. I'm sorry. Wow, bro. We don't even have a coach in there, bro. We don't have a coach. This is crazy.
With the 5th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Ron Holland II.
What? Wow. Oh my God. I was not expecting that. Holy crap. Damn. That's not Connect. It's not Buzelis. It's Ron Holland. I don't think anyone could have predicted that, bro. Wow. Oh, I hope he can shoot. I hope he can shoot. Okay. Well, that totally shakes things up for me. Okay. 18 years old. Crazy upside is what I've heard. And but we're really logging into these G League Ignite guys because we took Asar last year and now we got Ron Holland. So maybe I don't know. I don't know. I gotta see him play. This is a risky pick. Highest upside in the draft is what I've heard, but I don't know, dude. He's not. We better sign some shooters then. Well, I hope this works out. I really hope this works out. I guess we'll just have to wait until we see him play. Ron Holland, welcome to the team. I can't wait to talk this with Connor. But I think Ron Holland next to Cade, he's an aggressive scorer, which we already have a really aggressive scorer in Jaden Ivey. So that only makes me think that Jaden Ivey is either ridden to the bench or we're going to trade him and get some sort of another young shooter, maybe not even someone as good as Jaden Ivey, but just some sort of shooter. Or they have this devious plan where they're just going to throw a bunch of athletes on the floor next to Cade. It says he's a good defender, which is good. We need defenders around Cade. And Jaden Ivey's not really that good of a defender. So I think all of this kind of points to the Pistons trading Jaden Ivey, which sucks. I love Jaden Ivey. But then again, you got to go with the younger guy here. Jaden Ivey hasn't really proven much, but also the Pistons just haven't really been that good. So I I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I guess we'll see what happens in summer league. It's a no win, no lose sort of pick, I think, because he will have some trade value in the future if he doesn't end up being good, which is most likely what's going to happen because the Pistons ruin a lot of guys after they draft them. It says the Charlotte Hornets need rim protection or catch and shoot threats. So I can see this going either way. Connect, Bazelis, or Klingon. Um, but I already have my pick locked in as Stefan Castle, and he was already picked. So let's see who they take. Doesn't matter.
The 2024 NBA draft. The Charlotte Hornets select Tijian Salon.
Whoa. Whoa. I did not expect that, dude. Connor, I am so sorry. Maybe this will be like a Porzingis situation, but I had no clue that this guy was going to go that high. I had him going to the Kings at 13, bro. So this is what Connor said to me. He put a bunch of facepalm faces. If you're not on YouTube, Connor just sent me like eight face palming emojis. Salon can shoot though. He can shoot though. Is his rim protection? Maybe they got a 2-in-1 sort of package here. Maybe they got a 2-in-1 package here because Salon can probably protect the rim a little bit too.
With the 7th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Portland Trailblazers select
Dalton Connect.
Donovan Clingan.
Wow. And they're moving on from DeAndre Ayton then. Okay. All right. We got a lot to talk about here. So Klingan is going to play a lot harder. He's going to bring a winning culture to the Blazers. And I think, DeAndre Ayton, he kind of had a Andre Drummond syndrome, where as soon as he got his big payday, he stopped playing hard. And, as a Pistons fan, there was a complete difference from when Andre Drummond first got his, max extension or whatever to after. Andre Drummond stopped playing as hard. And I think the same thing happened to DeAndre Ayton. There's no want to win anymore. Donovan Clingan, this is a great pick here for the Blazers. They can maybe even fool people and get rid of Ayton for something better. I think Scoot, Anthony Simons, and Donovan Clingan are going to be they're going to be a big three one day. And I think Donovan Clingan's going to have a huge impact at the beginning of his career. Yeah, you just don't see guys this big anymore, and I love it. We saw how much value Isaiah Hartenstein can bring to a team. I think this is going to be such a huge pickup for the Blazers, and he's going to be a guy for them for the next years. That's going to make them competitive. That was nice that he was able to drop for them. So I'm excited to see who the Spurs pick here now, because now they have Buzelis and Dalton Connect at their fingertips to pick from. Or they can trade the pick, or they can take Topic or Rob Dillingham. Or Devin Carter. I mean, any of these guys, you never know who's going to be the best out of those like 6 I just named. I think the Spurs, though, have a good record of knowing. And, the thing that happened with Lonnie Walker, I know no one asked, but the thing that happened with Lonnie Walker was they just didn't have enough room for him with DeRozan and DeJounte Murray already on the team. He never really got the opportunity to kind of show out. So um, now these guys that the Spurs draft will, and the Spurs player development team is one of the best in the league. Why do you think DeRozan had such a strong comeback? Because he was at the Spurs for so long, and then when he goes to the Bulls and he's the main option besides DeJounte and LaMarcus Aldridge, you know DeMar DeRozan's going to be good, and that's because he went to the Spurs. Damn, so this really fell right into the Spurs' lap then. They already drafted their defender. Everyone else kind of reached their arm a little too far in, and then now Dalton Connect and Buzelis are at their fingertips. So I think they take Connect here. This is a very Spurs pick. I think they're gonna take Connect, and I want them to take Topic, so I get it right, but I think they're gonna take Connect. I at first I did think that the Spurs were gonna take Rob Dillingham because they have specialized with shorter, undersized point guards in the past. I mean, normal point guards are like what, 6'3", 6'4" nowadays. Rob Dillingham, 6'1" without shoes. That's not bad. Oh, the pick is in. I'm just saying Rob Dillingham wouldn't be a bad pick here.
With the 8th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Rob Dillingham.
Wow. I should have kept it. I should have kept my pick. Wow, dude. So they just got a shot creator. I can't believe I said that right before he got drafted. Holy crap. I just had a feeling in my udders, man. But anyway, they just got a shot creating point guard who can electrify a crowd, electrify a team, and he's pairing up with Wembanyama. Well, he might not start, but I mean, shoot, him coming off the bench is really going to help the Spurs offense, especially when Wemby or Devin Vassell is not on the floor. I mean, specifically when Wemby's not on the floor, man, he's going to help a ton. Wow, what a pick by the Spurs. And I can't believe I sort of called that low key. Minnesota just traded for the 8th pick and got Rob Dillingham. That's wild. Wow. So Minnesota gets Rob Dillingham. That is perfect to pair with Anthony Edwards and the rest of the team and what they're going for, their identity, this high scoring, high flying, energetic offense with Cat and Anthony Edwards that they have, and Mike Conley's getting old. That makes sense. What a trade for the Timberwolves. I just wonder what they gave up.
With the 9th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Memphis Grizzlies select Zach Edey.
Whoa. What? There is no way they just picked Zach Edey top 10. That's crazy. What? Wow. Holy crap. I mean, I know they got rid of Steven Adams, but damn, you don't think they're going to take Edey? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I need to text Connor right now. Wow, dude. So, okay. Him on defense next to, dude, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how this is going to work because John Morant loves to drive, right? And where is Edey going to be at? In the paint, obviously. So I don't know if this will work in the NBA. They might, honestly, the best thing to do might be to let Edey play in the G League for like half a season, maybe, and then bring him in. Or if he looked really good in summer league, then have him play right away. I personally would not have taken Zach Edey this high. He was seeming like a number like a number 20-ish, 20 to 25-ish range to me. But damn, man, I don't know. I don't know, brother. This is crazy. 25 points a game though, 12 rebounds. You might want to take a stab at them. Grizzlies probably felt like there wasn't anything they were lacking on besides center, and this is a pretty bad draft for centers besides Klingon. So yeah, Edey and Jaren Jackson Jr. They're going to be a nightmare to try and go into the paint against. So there's that. But there's no guarantee Zach Edey starts either. I'd probably bring Zach Edey in off the bench, play him like 15 minutes, maybe even 12 to 15 minutes, especially for his first year. Let him get his stamina up in the G League, maybe even. So there's definitely ways they could go. I think Zach Edey does have upside and maybe can carve out a career. I mean, if Boban Marjanovic could have a decent career, I think Edey's more skilled than him. So I think we could see Edey become a 20 minute per game sort of really productive uh backup center eventually. So I'm not a Zach Edey hater. I know he got a lot of his points by foul hunting, and he got a lot of his points on the free throw line, and they're Purdue is a fraudulent team because they got all the points through Zach Edey or whatever, but yeah, did not expect him to go 9. That's the bottom line. See, Jazz, the big pick here.
24 NBA draft.
Dalton Connect.
The Utah Jazz select Cody Williams.
Wow, dude. Dalton Knecht and Buzelis have still not been picked. That's crazy. But Cody Williams going to the Jazz. Okay. Okay. Giving him a defender, kind of a do-it-all player. I like that. Going next to sorry, let me turn the volume down. Going next to Markkanen and Chris Dunn and Keontae George. I think this is good actually. And Jordan Clarkson can ball handle for him still. Chris Dunn can handle the ball a little bit. And then obviously they have Taylor Horton Tucker too. Okay, this might be a good pick. This might be a good pick. He can probably play. Oh, he was also drafted 12th. Dude, that would have been crazy if the Jazz just waited 2 more picks and Cody Williams could have also been drafted 12th. That was crazy. Okay. So Cody Williams to the Jazz. I don't really have much to say about that. The Jazz are just kind of getting a do-it-all guy. I don't think he's going to make that crazy of a difference quite yet, but he's definitely a good athlete and going to be a good role player. Maybe not as good as Justin or Jalen, but yeah, this is a interesting pick. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect Cody to get picked that early because I'm just surprised Dalton Knecht and Buzelis are still on the board. So Bulls might be picking one of those guys to kind of help build around, and I think Knecht on the Bulls would be a good pick, or Devin Carter, or Buzelis to kind of help build around. So you got a lot of options there, especially with Josh Giddey. He's kind of the only guaranteed person to stay besides Kobe White. So you have your ball handler. I guess do it all small forward if Josh Giddey doesn't get all in his head and shit in the playoffs. And we'll see where the Bulls go. But yeah, Jazz got a good one here. So something interesting I just saw, Nick Claxton signs a 4-year, $100 million extension, which is a great deal for Claxton. I don't think that's overpaying him at all. I don't think that's underpaying him. I think Nick Claxton is a really good defensive center, perfectly built for today's NBA, especially for one that doesn't shoot threes. I think he's doing the most he can out there. He always gives 110% effort. So this is a great signing for the Nets. And hopefully they can use those draft picks and get this team better for, if they're going to have Nick Claxton, they want this team better. And them re-signing him makes me think that they're trying to win. So, they're going to have Bojan Bogdanovic. So hopefully that they're able to use him. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. So something interesting I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the Pistons fans' reaction to drafting Ron Holland on Instagram and getting a lot of reactions saying, should have taken Connect, which I agree, or Dillingham. But a lot of people don't like this pick. And the top comment on this right now, posted 13 minutes ago, it already has 67 likes. Will you guys ever give Cade young talent who can shoot from 3? And I agree, but one of the responses to it was you get that in free agency. Reed Shepherd was already gone. And that's the tough part about getting, the 5th pick in the draft when you had the worst record in the league. We could have so easily had the, 1st pick, 2nd pick, 3rd pick. We could have easily had Reed Shepherd in this thing. But, I see what the Pistons are doing. They might as well take the guy with really high upside. Might as well bank in on a guy. We have cap space to use in this free agency, and I just really hope we do get some Cade. We do get Cade some shooters. And, I think with taking Ron Holland that we're getting rid of Jaden Ivey or Asar Thompson even. I hope we don't get rid of Asar. He's a great defender. We just need him to learn how to shoot. And we need to sign some shooters in free agency. So I'll be looking at some free agents. We'll do an episode about free agency and our hopes about that and stuff. That'll be a very Pistons and Hornets centered episode, but I'm not mad at this pick. I think, we have a lot of we have free speech in this country, and we're not there making the decisions in the front office. We sit here and kind of observe, and I'm trying to see it with an open mind. It's kind of like on 2K. They probably saw this guy has A+ potential. He's going to be a 90 overall one day, and I hope the Pistons player development team does not ruin him.
With the 11th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Chicago Bulls select Matis Buzelis.
There he goes. Bulls get Matas Buzelis. All right. And we kind of talked about it already. If they were to get him, they're obviously probably going to use him as a role player for the future or just completely build around him if he ends up being the stud that he's supposed to be. But Bulls got a steal here, I think. Buzelis was the fifth rated projected player in the draft. Most teams must have just not needed a power forward. I know the Kings were probably hoping he slipped down. The Kings could have really used Buzelis too, but they might be stuck drafting De Silva now. But yeah, I really like this pick for the Bulls. They couldn't really go wrong there with Connect or Devin Carter still on the board, all decent shooters. But yeah, they just better hope that Buzelis can keep shooting consistently from three. But Bulls, they kind of got another more athletic Lauri Markkanen here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I already talked about Buzelis a lot today. So we'll finish these last three picks in the lottery with not much talking here. All right, OKC with their first pick of the next 35 that they have. Let's see who they take.
With the 12th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Nikola Topic.
Wow. Did not see, like, dude, I must know nothing because Nikola Topic, it doesn't look like this fan's too happy about it. The overseas guard who got injured and his wingspan isn't actually 7 feet. It's actually only 6'5". Man, they just must be looking for a guy that can take some ball handling responsibilities off of Jalen Williams and Shea, which, that's never a bad choice. And I'm not, like I said, with all of these guys, none of them might even be starters well, Alex Sarr will start, but none of them besides him will probably be starters in this league right away. So I think he's the second Serbian-born player to get drafted in the lottery since Darko Milicic. So maybe this isn't a good pick here. I mean, honestly, this might be the first, the Hornets pick wasn't that bad looking back in retrospect, but Topic, he can take some ball handling responsibilities away from Shea and Jalen Williams. I know in the playoffs they had Jalen Williams bringing up the ball a lot, and I think that honestly hurt them. So having another guard out there they can trust, one that can make plays and even score on occasion can help them, I think. So yeah, this is a good pick for the Thunder. I'll give them that. What's interesting is this guy just said he doesn't expect to see Topic on the floor until next season. So, well, next season. So they think summer league next year is when we will next see Topic. So that's going to be interesting. Thunder, they're really banking on this guy to maybe just be a guy who can take the pressure off of Shea and Jalen Williams. And, that's what I've been saying, but it just sucks that, we're gonna have to wait a year to see it. So there's that. He did have a bunch of injuries, so it makes sense. So they're gambling here, but this might be an MPJ situation. MPJ was taken 13th, didn't play for a year, maybe even 2 years, but he ended up coming into the league in the 1920 season ready to fire. So that really worked out for the Nuggets. So I think it'll work out for the Thunder too. I'm optimistic about that. Sacktown, baby.
With the 13th pick in the 2000.
Shout out Aaron.
The Sacramento Kings select Devin Carter from Providence.
Devin Carter, there it is. Okay, that's a good pick for Sac. I don't think they improved their depth at power forward much, but that's a really good pick for depth at the wing spot, and he will surely be competing for minutes. So this dude's from Providence. He can do it all. He's a really good defender. His dad, Anthony Carter, played in the NBA, and he averaged 20 points a game in college. So the Kings couldn't go wrong here with this pick. I think, the fact that Dalton Connect is still on the board here is insane. I know the Kings could have used him, but they already have a lot of shooters, so might as well go get a guy who can play some pretty good defense too while he's at it. And he led Providence in points, rebounds, assists, and steals per game. I'm just reading that because I don't know much about Devin Carter. I don't watch Providence. I don't really watch college basketball. I'm going to start watching it this year, but man, good pick by the Kings. Aaron, you should be happy about that if you're listening. Shout out Aaron Norfleet, everybody. He's going to be my dentist one day. But yeah, dude, this guy can do it all. He averaged 9 rebounds as a guard, which is insane. So Kings are getting an absolute steal here. Dude, over 8 rebounds a game at 6'2" and a fourth is diabolical. And that sprint, dude, this guy is a jack of all trades athlete. He's gonna be an absolute menace with Davion Mitchell out there and De'Aaron Fox. This team's defense just took another leap. The Blazers pick is in as well, but we know this pick is going to the Wizards. So let's see who they pick. I think the Wizards are gonna take Jacoby Walter.
14th pick, the 2024 NBA Draft. The Portland Trailblazers select Bub Carrington.
What? Who's Bub Carrington? Is this a reach here? Where is he supposed to be at? I know Bub is like a meme, but still, dude's not even on the top 86. This is crazy. He went to Pittsburgh, it looks like. A guard with shot making, passing abilities. He's going to the Wizards, so this is gonna help out Jordan Poole. They have Malcolm Brogdon. I don't know if they're planning on keeping him, but looks like he's gonna be helping create for the Wizards, which, Wizards need everything, so they couldn't really go wrong with this pick here as long as they didn't, draft I guess like a center or something. Okay, well that does it for the lottery. I don't have much to say else besides that. I've been talking a lot. I don't know how long this live reaction part's going to be, but Connor and I should be getting in touch soon, which will be the second half of this video, about our initial draft reactions, what we think about certain teams, this trade that happened with the Timberwolves, this trade that happened with the Blazers and Wizards, and Zach Edey going 9th, like what the hell, and obviously our reactions to the Pistons and Hornets picks, since this is a Pistons and Hornets fans run podcast. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I appreciate you guys sticking with me for this part, this live reaction. And yeah, we'll check back in when I am talking to Connor post lottery. Welcome back, guys. Thanks for watching the live reaction. I have Connor on the phone with me. He is driving currently, so we're gonna make do with what we got. Sorry, no YouTube segment for this, but we both watched the lottery. The first round isn't even done yet. And Connor, I just want to start off with what do you think about that Hornets pick, my man?
Man, I'm going to have to learn how to say poverty franchise in French because holy shit, man. I'm not a fan of the pick at all. I mean, I guess I should take that back to an extent because I wasn't very educated on him going into it, as I figured he was going to go more in that like 9 to 12 range. So I didn't watch too much film on him thinking that there was a chance unless we were going to trade back, which, going right up to our pick, like right up to the very end, it looked like we were about to trade back to 9 with the Grizzlies so that they could hop up and take Quingen ahead of the Blazers at 6. And then we would be able to get our guy at 9. But instead, for some reason, even though we could have gotten him at 9, we stayed with the pick at 6, didn't trade it, and still took him at 6. And, this could be a type of draft that we look back on in a couple of years and think, or this type of pick that we look back on and think, wow, that was a Hornets type pick right there. And the reason I say that is, there's new management in town. We have a whole new front office, a brand new head coach. Steve Clifford is now working with the front office, our old head coach. So just everything's different now. And I see this is a project pick. I mean, he is, he's got a really good wingspan, really good frame, really good size for the position he plays, like the small forward, power forward position. The problem with him is that he's definitely a project pick. He's supposed to be a guy that they're saying in 2-3 years down the line is gonna be someone that can start to use them. But I just feel like with our situation right now, we can't afford projects. But like I was saying, I see it both ways. This new management, this new coach, they see this as, all right, we're starting right now. We don't care what we've done, how bad we've been in the past, whatever. We're starting our quote unquote their rebuild right now, and they're starting it off with a guy that they feel has a very, very high upside. Saw some comparisons to a ceiling of like Lauri Markkanen with his size and play style. And I mean, if he turns out to be that, I'd be absolutely thrilled, especially with a draft like this.
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's the type of player he's really going to turn out to be. He's definitely very raw. He's a very raw player. He's going to need a lot of work. His shooting is definitely a big question mark. His handles are another question mark. I mean, even though he plays the 4, in today's NBA, you do got to have a little bit of a handle. The biggest reason they went after him is he is a defensive stud. He runs on a crazy high motor, and he's very young. He's the youngest player that's been drafted so far. He's not the youngest player in the draft, but he's the youngest player so far that's been drafted.
Yeah.
And even to now, even though as we're recording this, as there's been 23 picks, he's still the youngest so far. And so I see it from both. I see it from both lenses. But what I was just describing was more of a positive outlook lens of, they see a project in him. This new management thinks they can work with him well. I know, Evan Fournier with the Magic, or Steve Clifford before he came back to the Hornets worked with coached the Magic. Before he came back to the Magic, when he was coaching them, Evan Fournier was one of his favorite players, and I guess they had a really close connection. And I guess Fournier is who reached out about Saloon, and I guess that he just absolutely fell in love with him. He went out there and watched him play in the game. He played with Alex Sarr. He played on the same team at one point. He played with him, not this last year. He played on the same team that Wemby played on.
Yeah.
He just fell in love with him, and now that he's considered in this front, now he's part of this front office. I guess he had a huge impact on that pick. And I understand where they're coming from. I understand what they're doing. Apparently they did work him out, and it was just they just didn't announce it because they didn't want anybody to know about him. I heard that he had a lingering ankle injury and didn't work out, and that's why he didn't. But I guess it's just coming out now that they did have a workout and just wasn't announced.
Wow, they totally boofed us, dude.
Exactly. So on the other end, I guess in my hating standpoint, I just don't think that this team is in a position that we can afford projects like that. We've been going off upside for so long. And even though I have been a fan of our most recent draft picks with LaMelo and Brandon Miller, we've had good picks in recent years. And they're still just panning out, and they need time, and I understand that. But the Kings and the Suns are two teams that I feel like the Hornets need to learn about, and the Pistons as well. Just teams that have drafted for so long just on upside, instead of, taking just good basketball players, guys that are going to have an impact, whether they have a high upside or not. At some point when you have a team like the Hornets, you need to start a team like the Pistons. You have to start drafting for floors as well, not just high ceilings and just shoot for the stars every year and then hope, because that's how you stay out of the playoffs for 10 straight years when you draft like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they have drafted like that recently, but this pick is one of those picks. So if we go 3 years down the line and he turns into a Killian Hayes type player, it wouldn't really surprise me,
right?
Just because of that. And another thing that I ought to right off rip think of is, and I was explaining this to you on text after they picked it, is this makes me think Miles is gone. I mean, this is the type of draft where you just got to go get your guy. Don't pay attention to the mock drafts, and I do appreciate that. I'm not hating on the guy because he was supposed to go 9 through 12 and we took him at 6. Like, I don't care about that. You go get your guy in a draft like this. I'm not upset with that at all. What it does show me though is that they are drafting for fit. Miles he was the only player that wasn't at Charles Lee's introductory press conference a couple days ago, our new head coach.
Oh, boy.
He posted on his Instagram story, control what you can control. He's asking for about $30 million a year. And although the Hornets can't afford that, they also don't know if they should be doing that. And with all these other free agents out there on the market, them looking to rebuild, it's an interesting thing. And I think that that's kind of where they're at right now. And I think there's a good shot that Miles is going to be gone. And for that reason, they're kind of looking to get that new forward of the future, because every other position is filled up on this team. At the shooting guard 3, we got, Brandon Miller. At the point guard, you got LaMelo. At the center, you got Mark Williams. What you're missing on this team is a 3-4 guy that can defend well, and that's exactly what Saloon can do. He's a good defender that runs at a high motor that wants to win. And, for that reason, I like the pick. I just don't know if he's going to be able to make an immediate impact, in which I would like the Hornets to be doing. What they're obviously saying right now is, we're going to stick to the young thing. We're not going to compete right now. They traded away all their guys at the trade deadline last year to try and rebuild, which I really appreciate what they did. And they're just sticking to that formula now with this pick. And, you know, as much as I wanted guys like Modest Zubelis and Stephon Castle, I mean, Stephon Castle just went really. That was going to happen. That was more of a hope and pray. Dalton Connect falling that far is crazy, but, you know, at some point, man, you got to win. And I guess I got to give this new front office and new coaching staff like some time, because this isn't the same team that the Hornets have been the last 5 years.
Yeah.
This is a new organization to an extent. So I can't just base it off of how previous years have been, because this is new management. So I think this is going to just be another sad year for the Hornets. I mean, not that this pick was going to make or break it no matter what, taking the 6th pick in a weak draft.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't going to determine the season either way, but it's definitely not. They definitely could have went out and got a guy like Connect who was going to have an immediate impact, and instead they showed that they were going to go the path of taking a project, taking a raw guy that has high upside, and filling in their needs of what they think the future needs. And, you know, this could very well turn out very well and be the right pick, and it could also, you know, very well have us be looking back and thinking, man, that was a classic Hornets draft pick in 2024.
Exactly, and I think that was a great response, by the way. And I like that you have an open mind about this pick. You're giving your new management a chance. And, you know, it's kind of just a thing where, you know, time will tell with picks like this. You know, this is reminding me a lot of the 2014 draft, you know, 10 years ago. There wasn't much there. CJ McCollum was probably the best player to come out of that draft. And, you know, it took him a while to kind of get his footing and, you know, become the star we know him as today. And, you know, he's just a good role player now, and that's the thing with this draft. There's a lot of good role players, so it just depends on Charlotte Hornets management and their player development team, and I wish the best of luck with them for Saloon. And I was very surprised by the pick, too. I really thought you guys were going to go with Klingon, but, you know, I hope this experiment works out for you guys. I hope you guys don't pull a Killian Hayes, and I don't think you will. Your player development's been pretty good. I think you guys have a lot of young guys, especially Brandon Miller. I mean, I feel like he could have looked a lot worse if he went to a team that didn't have as good of a player development program as the Hornets.
I agree. So shifting off of that, unless you had anything else to say about him.
No, you're good, bro. I think you covered it all.
I was going to say, just shifting off of that, what's our immediate reaction with Ron Holland getting drafted to the Pistons?
So all day, I listened to a bunch of podcasts today, and I watched a lot of videos, you know, just preparing for the draft and what kind of to expect out of this, you know, these top 20, because I had no clue who a lot of these guys were before, you know, the past couple days. And, you know, Ron Holland, he was expected to go around 10th. I had him going to Utah, and then when the Pistons picked him, I was just like, wow. All right, because I know this guy probably has like one of, if not the highest upsides in the draft, and he just kind of had a shitty, not a shitty year, but a subpar year before this, and, you know, I'm concerned, but I'm also excited. You know, this is going to be another subpar year for the Pistons, but it's going to be an exciting year to kind of see where this rookie is at, and he's apparently really explosive and aggressive scorer. He's only 18 years old. He has, you know, upside. We've been stroking this thing of upside this whole time. And, you know, I'm kind of frustrated with it. I really want to connect. I know you want to connect too. I could have, you know, there were other guys we could have taken, and I think this front office is kind of banking on this coach and this new player development team hopefully being able to get these guys to where they need to be, to where the Pistons can become good. I hope he's a good fit next to Cade. I just got to see how this kid plays in Summer League, because we can't really base anything yet until we see these guys actually play. So I'm really excited for Summer League. But one thing that raised a question for me was what's going to happen to Jaden Ivey. I love Jaden Ivey, and it's kind of a Miles Bridges thing, but Miles Bridges is a way better player, so I'd be a lot more hurt to lose him. Jaden Ivey hasn't really proved himself, other than that he's he's an aggressive scorer, but he ball hogs a lot. He has a lot of bad tendencies still. So I'm really kind of just waiting to see what happens with that. Maybe we trade him for a shooter. They really kind of forced the Pistons GM's hands to go get shooters in free agency. So I'm just hoping that the Pistons front office can do what they need to do to surround Cade and these aggressive scorers on the inside with shooters on the outside. So I'm keeping an open mind about it. I know I don't want the Pistons player development to mess this up, and I know they can. They have before with countless other projects. Sekou Doumbouya, Killian Hayes. They picked up Marvin Bagley, Josh Jackson. Those guys, all very high picks with so much potential. James Wiseman might be number one in this category to where he wasn't what he was supposed to be because of bad player development teams. And the Pistons have probably one of the historically worst player development staffs in the NBA. So hopefully with this new GM, we can fix it. And I'm excited to see how good he is, what he does in summer league. But like you, I'm keeping an open mind about it.
Yeah, I mean, Trajan Langdon, the new guy. I mean, we're in similar situations. You got new management as well, a new head coach, even though you don't know who it is yet. As well. And so, as much as we want to blame our teams for their past failures, it's kind of hard to it's kind of hard not to blame, to get upset and think that the same thing's going to happen with what we have had happen. But, I think we just got to give it a chance, see what happens. I mean, we both took big swings on these two picks at 5 and 6 of guys that have long-term what's thought to be upside, or might not be guys that right away are going to be immediate impact, players. And, going to teams like the Pistons and the Hornets, these two guys are going to get way more experience early on than they would if they, say, did go to a team like the
Thunder or something like that.
Fell to that 9 to 12 range, and maybe that's going to help. That I would imagine that would help their development a lot. And it's getting reps. And I mean, what you got to think about is they're just our teams. We understand we're small markets, and we aren't going to be able to build a team based on being an attractive off-season destination for free agents, and it has to be made in the draft. And with the Hornets, I mean, drafting LaMelo, Mark Williams, and Brandon Miller, in the last couple of years, this is the last slot in for the Hornets of this core that they needed, especially if they're losing Miles. And if they're keeping Miles, it's even better, because then they really do have a beautiful young 1 through 5 that's constructed really well together. And, we've seen time and time again in recent years, like the Celtics this last year and the Nuggets the year before, and the Bucks the year before that, of teams that have won based on how they drafted their team and put their team together, not just a super team that's been put together in free agency. And that's what our teams are looking to do. Let's hope that we're going to be on that end of history in recent years or in upcoming years. And all we can kind of do is be optimistic. And as much as that has been the tale of the last 10 years for us both, I feel like that's all we really can do going forward.
Right. I mean, it's not like we're in the position to, make the trade or, talk to the GM or anything like that. But still, you want your team to win. And I totally understand, like, being a small market, you need your homegrown players to be good. And that's what Denver did. And, I think one thing is you need to find the perfect coach. You need to find the coach that wants to win, wants these players to get better. And I hope whoever the Pistons hire wants that. I hope your guys' new coach wants that, and I hope that I just hope these players turn out what they're supposed to be for both of us, man.
Couldn't agree more.
What was your most, I guess, what was your most, like, pat on the back pick? Like, damn, like, that was a good pick.
Ooh, man, pat on the back, like, for anyone, probably. Well, I mean, I guess if you want to just we're not talking about, like, steals, right? Because if we're talking steals, it's really, like, obviously Dalton Connect as of this point.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to say, in terms of just what I think is the best pick that could have happened, I look at probably, Stephon Castle with the Spurs. I was just really hoping he was going to fall, and he's going to fit that mold so well.
Yes, he is.
What the Spurs really do, and he's a winning player who can adjust to anything that he needs to be in. And I think that was the absolutely perfect pick that the Spurs needed. So for that reason, I really like that pick. I obviously like the Wizards taking Sarr at 2. Has the talent to be 1, but they had their own problems with Atlanta and him not working out for them, and this and that. So I think obviously that was a really good pick at 2. And then I really like the Khalil Ware pick by Miami, taking the guy from Indiana at 15. I understand he was supposed to go a lot later, but man, I watched him play multiple times this year. He was a Big Ten guy. he was one of the best. He was one of the best players in the Big Ten this last year as a 7-foot center that can stretch the floor. He really reminds me of maybe a little bit lengthier Jaren Jackson. A great defender. His free throw shooting can be a problem at times, but that obviously can be fixed because he definitely has good mechanics. But I thought that was a sneaky good pick for a team that he definitely could go right into and help immediately.
Right. That's been the story of the Heat. Getting the 7th, 8th, playing kind of seeds these past 3 or so years, and they've done well. Jaime Jaquez last year was a steal. And that's I really thought they were going to take Connect, but because they just know that mold. He fits that Jaime Jaquez vibe, and I kept saying that during the live reaction that he reminded me of him so much.
They definitely have. They definitely already have a Dalton Connect and Tyler Hero with Miami.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, that was a good pick. I agree, and I didn't know much about him until they did the kind of review about him when he got picked. But I think any team needs a player like that, especially in today's day and age. Any team needs a guy that can just go to work, help immediately, and a good defender as well. A lot of good defenders in this draft. And I would say a pick where I was like, I wasn't too sure of it at first, but the Timberwolves trading for Rob Dillingham, I think, was an underrated sort of move that I think is going to help them a lot in the future. With Mike Conley getting old, especially, they don't have another option at point guard right now. And I think adding Rob Dillingham to this already sort of electrifying and defensively solid team to where his defensive shortcomings won't hurt them too much. I think Rob Dillingham joining this core is going to be really good for them. So I thought that was
as an already defensive minded and weighted team, they definitely have. Besides Naz Reid, they have really lacked offensive scoring off the bench.
Yep.
And he's going to come in right away and be that offensive boost and be a piece of energy that they really need. That swag off the bench, and I really like that too, and especially because they got him for nothing. They pretty much got him for like a fucking 4th grader.
Yeah, exactly, and that was kind of insane. I was really surprised because I thought the Spurs drafted him, and I was like, that doesn't really seem like a Spurs pick to me, but it made sense once the trade went through. So
yeah.
But yeah, I guess the one thing I also want to talk about is Zach Edey going at 9. I didn't really expect that at all, and I think that just proves the Grizzlies. I don't know why they didn't take Khalil Ware, and I don't know what their plan is with Edey. What do you
they already have like a Khalil Ware in Jaren Jackson, honestly, and they've definitely wanted to move Jaren to the 4 as he's been having to play too much 5 the last couple of years with Steven Adams injuries, and now that he's gone, they're definitely going for their center. And I think the Grizzlies' thought was, I'm really interested to see why the trade fell through between Charlotte and them at 6 and 9. And I wonder if, so obviously their first guy was going to be Klingon. And I almost wonder if they kind of just were okay with, if they couldn't get up and they couldn't make it work, just settling with Edey at 9. I think I saw a lot of talks they were wanting to take, or that the Trailblazers were originally wanting to take Edey at 14 if Klingon went earlier. And since they traded that pick away, it became very apparent that the Blazers were going to take Klingon if they had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I wonder who actually really couldn't make the trade happen, if it was Charlotte or if it was Memphis. But they definitely were going to go for a center all the way, no matter what the Grizzlies were. And I even though I think Edey isn't going to be that great in the NBA level, he's definitely going to be something in the NBA level. I mean, if you look at guys like Enes Kanter and players like that have had 14, 15-year NBA careers that weren't that great of studs, there's a lot of backup centers that have just made long careers in the NBA just because they can have offensive upsides. And that's exactly what Zach Edey is. And they probably see him as a guy that they can have for years and years to come and just keep building around their young core of Ja, Jaren, and him. And not that he's even though he probably will have an immediate impact coming in because there's no center competing with him. I think they already know they have enough defense with Jaren down low, and that's not necessarily what they were too worried about. So they were just looking for that offensive piece at center. And as much as I don't like the pick, very much. It definitely fits with the Grizzlies. As if there was anyone that was going to take them, it was going to be them or the Trailblazers. So not too surprised by it.
Yeah, I think Edey is a great player to have in certain situations as well, especially when the other team doesn't have a stretch five center. I think that's where you can start getting problems, because this isn't college anymore to where Edey can just chill in the paint. There's going to be players that can shoot threes that's going to take Edey out of the paint, where he can be Gobert, a defensive liability, and he is not as good of a defender as Gobert is. So I can see problems coming, but I also can see development happening quickly for Edey, especially if he spends some time in the G League. And I know the Grizzlies are good at developing their players. Just look at Desmond Bane and Dylan Brooks before he went all villain mode. Guys like that, they've developed really well, and I think Edey's got a good chance to be, a 20-minute player throughout his career, and he can have a solid impact on the game. I was gonna say one more thing. Oh yeah, shout out Logan and the Blazers. I think they really kind of are underrated star of the show in this draft. They got Denny Avdija, and they also got Klingon, so they improved a lot on their defense today, which was something they desperately needed.
100%.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all I had to ask you. I know you got to get to bed and stuff, so anything else you want to ask or say about the draft so far?
So far, you're right. I do got to get going to bed. I hope I don't have too many nightmares about the pick in my sleep, but hopefully it grows on me in recent days. I'm going to give it time. I think it's going to be fine. Anytime you get a 6'9" guy, a 6'9" power forward with a 7'3" wingspan that's 18 years old, I'm going to try and give him the benefit of the doubt until he proves me wrong. Just excited for Summer League.
Right. Me too. All right. Well, peace out from Connor and Caleb at Over the Line. We will talk to you guys very soon about free agency and, probably Bronny James next time as well. That's going to be exciting to see tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Peace out.
Yeah, peace out, guys.